"Don't jump," said a struggling single dad, pulling the girl from the bridge. She turned out to be It was midnight. The city lights reflected off the dark waters of the river, and the bridge stood in silence, broken only by the occasional roar of cars passing by. But that night, there was someone standing on the edge, someone who had decided that life was no longer worth living. Her name was Emily, a young woman in her early 20s, trembling as she stared into the endless black water. The world had been cruel to her. She had lost her mother to illness. Her father had abandoned her years ago, and her dreams of becoming a writer had been shattered by constant rejection. The loneliness, the emptiness, the feeling of being invisible, it was too much. She whispered, almost to herself, "Nobody would even notice if I disappeared." At the same time, Daniel, a single father in his late 30s, was driving home from his night shift. His 10-year-old daughter, Lily, was waiting at home, probably asleep by now. Life had not been kind to Daniel either. He worked 2 jobs, barely paid rent, and often went hungry so his daughter could eat. His wife had left years ago, leaving him with the responsibility of raising Lily alone. Tired, stressed, and exhausted, Daniel pulled his car to the side of the road near the bridge, just to take a moment and breathe. That's when he saw Emily standing on the railing. His heart froze. He knew that posture, that despair. Without thinking, he jumped out of his car and ran toward her. "Don't do it," he shouted, his voice cracking with desperation. Emily turned her head, startled, tears streaming down her face. "Stay back," she said softly, her voice shaking. "It's none of your business." But Daniel didn't stop. He slowed his steps, speaking with the same gentleness he used with his daughter when she was scared. "Please, don't jump. I know it feels like the world has given up on you, but I promise you, your story isn't over yet. You just can't see the next chapter." Emily shook her head. "You don't understand. I've lost everything. Nobody cares." Daniel reached the railing and extended his hand, his own eyes filled with tears. "I understand more than you think. My wife left me. I'm drowning in debt. Sometimes I don't know how I'll feed my daughter tomorrow. Every day, I fight with the thought that maybe she'd be better off without me. But then I look at her and I remember, she needs me. And maybe, just maybe, the world still needs you." For a moment, there was silence. The city sounds faded, and only the river below seemed to whisper. Emily's lips trembled. Her grip on the railing loosened, and finally she placed a shaking hand in his dot. Daniel pulled her back, wrapping her in his arms as she broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. That night, 2 broken souls, one about to give up, the other struggling to hold on, found each other on a lonely bridge. The next few days were not easy. Daniel invited Emily into his small apartment, offering her the couch to sleep on. At first, she resisted, feeling like a burden, but Lily, Daniel's daughter, welcomed her with a smile that felt like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Emily had forgotten what warmth felt like, forgotten that someone could smile at her without wanting anything in return. She began helping Daniel around the house, cooking, and even helping Lily with homework. Slowly, the 3 of them built a rhythm, but Emily's pain was still there. Some mornings, she would sit by the window, staring into space, feeling like she didn't belong. One evening, Daniel noticed and sat beside her. "Emily," he said softly, "I know the darkness doesn't disappear overnight, but sometimes we survive one more day, just to see what tomorrow brings. You don't owe the world perfection. You just owe yourself another sunrise." Those words stayed with her. Weeks turned into months. Emily began writing again, something she thought she had lost forever. She poured her pain, her healing, and her journey into stories. Daniel and Lily became her biggest supporters. One day, Lily came home from school with tears in her eyes. She had been teased for not having a mother. Emily knelt down, hugged her tightly, and whispered, "Families aren't always about blood. They're about love. And you, Lily, are loved more than you'll ever know." That was the moment Daniel realized something. This woman, whom he had saved on that bridge, was no longer just a guest. She had become part of their lives. She had become family. And then something miraculous happened. One of Emily's short stories, written about a man who saved a girl on a bridge, went viral online. Publishers reached out. People connected with her words because they came from a place of raw truth. She was offered a book deal. For the first time, Emily's dream was not only alive, it was real. But the biggest revelation was yet to come. One evening, While Emily was sorting through old letters, she discovered a photograph tucked inside a yellowed envelope. It was her mother standing beside a man she had never seen before. She showed it to Daniel. His eyes widened, his hands trembling. The man in the photo was his estranged brother. Emily's heart skipped a beat. That meant she wasn't a stranger at all. She was family. The girl Daniel had saved on the bridge, the girl who had become a sister to Lily. A daughter figure to him was his niece. Fate had brought them together in the most unexpected way. Tears filled Emily's eyes as Daniel hugged her, his voice breaking. "I thought I was just saving a stranger that night, but it turns out I was saving family." From that day, the three of them built a new life together. Emily's books touched millions, giving hope to those who stood on the edge of despair. Daniel found strength in knowing that his struggles had not been in vain, that his pain had led him to a purpose greater than himself. And little Lily, she grew up surrounded not just by her father's love, but also by the love of the aunt who had almost slipped away. Final message for viewers. This story reminds us that no matter how dark life gets, there is always a reason to hold on. Sometimes, the person we save ends up saving us. Sometimes, family is not what we're born into, but what we find along the way. And sometimes, the very moment we're about to give up is the moment life is about to change forever. So if you're standing on your own bridge, don't jump. The world still needs your story.